Sliced Apples podcast with Alex and David.
Let's not waste any more time, man. Let's get right into it. Let's get right into our horrible picks. College football championship. I'll just let you, because you allowed me to just ramble with no direction when I gave my prediction. So I'll allow you right now. The floor is yours. What did you think of the game?
What did I think of the game? I mean, Georgia last night, they were the better team, but that's because they were the healthier team. I hate to be that guy, but they were the healthier team. And a couple guys showed up to play for Bama. I mean, Anderson, dude's a monster.
Animal.
Monster. And then Bryce Young. I gained a lot of respect for Bryce Young. Is that his name? Am I saying?
Yes.
It's Bryce
Bryce
Young,
Young.
right? Okay, I'm tripping. I don't know why that came out and I felt like it sounded weird. But Bryce Young, man, he was throwing some dots with two defenders in his face about to hit the shit out of him. And I want to give a special shout out to, I think it's the freshman tight end in Alabama, number 84. You shit the bed. Shout out for shitting the bed, because Jesus, there was some dots put on him and he had butterfingers. I don't know what it was. He had butterfingers. And I was like, dude, this is the perfect opportunity for this man to be the unknown saver for Alabama, the savior for Alabama on the national championship against Georgia. It was lined up for him because I don't know why he got most of the targets that I recall. He got most of the targets after Williams left with a now confirmed torn ACL. Oh, my bad. You kind of turned off your mic and you were like, mouth, you gotta hop in there, bud.
Yeah,
like,
what's going on?
My bad, because he's the one that missed the one in the end zone.
Yeah, I
and
did. Yeah, it hit him
then,
right in the shoulder pads.
Dude, big shout out to Alex for telling us about that Jimbo. Dude, I had switched over to it. And it was funny because right after he missed that, they were kind of talking about it. He goes, was that 84? And then the other guy goes, 84 drops them a lot. And I was like, damn, dude. That was crazy because he's been dropping them nonstop the game. Dude, that Jimbo thing was a great thing. Oh my God, dude.
I put it on for a couple minutes, and he's way too smart for me. Like, I don't understand what he's saying half the time, to be honest.
You only put it on for a couple minutes. Once you mentioned it, I put it on for the rest of the
game.
Yeah,
I put it on, dude.
I like Kirk Herbstreit and Chris Fowler. Like, I think they're really, really good at what they do. I really like Chris Fowler. I know Kirk Herbstreit's had it out for us for a while, but I do like Kirk Herbstreit. I like the original. Like, even with the Manning shit, I'm still like,
oh, dude, actually,
with the Manning stuff, I am fully on, because I really don't like their Monday night cast. Their Monday night cast is.
Yeah, I was gonna say you like
I like Louis Riddick. I love Louis Riddick. Louis Riddick's awesome. Come on. You don't like Louis Riddick?
I don't like any of those guys on that Monday Night Football.
Well, I don't like him as a
Booger. I don't even like Booger. Is Booger still on there?
No, he got clowned,
dude. Like, ESPN's Monday Night Football is like a clown show. Like, it's you can't take it serious, which is why they have the Manning cast. I'm pretty sure the ratings for the Manning cast was higher most of the time than the actual Monday Night Football broadcast.
Gotta be.
It's cool because it's like a natural conversation. Whenever where they're talking about the guy dropping that was 84, right? It has to be 84 because he's been dropping stuff. Yeah, and then that's what he said. He goes, was that 84? 84 has been dropping them. And it's cool because it's just like a casual conversation. You're just like, and the fact that there's like football talk and their like football knowledge is insane, dude. It's insane. Just to get like a little like hearing them talking, like, man, sometimes I don't know what the fuck they're talking about. I wish I did. But like even like on the Manning cast, dude, they talk formations and stuff, and it's just like, dude, that's way more interesting, dude. So interesting.
Well, they have like a pace on the regular shit. Sorry, David. They have like a pace they have to maintain. It's so like the status quo of like calling a game. It's so silly, you know.
Yeah,
Manning cast really did break it.
Yeah, and then the guests when they get the guest on there too, like
Yeah.
you know, it's great, man. It's can't beat that. I mean, the Jimbo cast, I loved it. Once you said something, I turned it on, never left it. Um, I tried to understand what they were saying for the most part. Defense on the defense wise, I don't really
Yeah.
understand too much of the terminology besides single high safety.
Yeah.
Single high safety. Two deep
I
safety.
understand the defense pretty well, actually. Like the offense, when he starts talking about like, reads and options and zones and this and that, like I understand what those words mean. I understand like how to apply it to a game. And if I'm reading a playbook, I know how to read it. But the rate at which they were talking about it was almost like, oh yeah. Like they were just like, they all were so in sync that I was like, okay, give me like a second to catch up with y'all. Like I'm 1 second behind y'all. My brain wasn't that quick.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, on the offensive side, I was able to keep up a little bit more of what they were talking about, but you can't buy better free publicity than that for Texas A&M.
no,
I'm
you
just
can't.
saying, just saying. But back to the actual game, since we just like talked about the Jimbo cast for like 10 minutes. Back to the actual game. Yeah, so Bryce Young, Anderson, I mean, that team they played their ass off. They played the best they can play with what they were limited to. Except for 84 Hall, the tight end Hall. He shit the bed. I don't know. He might be getting cut, transfer portal, whatever. Who knows? Georgia, I mean, credit to Bennett, Stetson Bennett, stayed composed. The running game started picking up a little bit more. That's ultimately what won the game, which is what I said. Whoever is able to rush more, that will be the team that wins. And it's funny because I hate kind of saying that because it's like, well, it's one of those things when analysts say it like on ESPN or something, I look at them like, no shit, Sherlock. Yeah, the one team that has the most rushing yards is going to beat the other team that doesn't have as much rushing yards. It's kind of like when they put a stat, the let's just say what playoff team? The Tampa Bay Buccaneers are 16-0 when Tom Brady throws at least 4 touchdowns. No shit, Sherlock. He scored at least 4 touchdowns. That's at least 28 points. I hope you're winning all those games. Like, but ultimately, I knew it came down to that because Stetson Bennett. I mean, he was able to do what he needed to do to win the game manager. But ultimately, for a second there, I think it was in the mid to late third quarter when Alabama took that 1-point lead. I thought Alabama, the momentum was on their side. Even on the Jimbo cast, they're saying, like, it's funny hearing them say this because they're just like, oh, they got the momentum now. They got it. That defense is gas. Like you can just tell they're gas. They got the momentum going. Alabama had that momentum going, and I thought they would ride that to the end because that's just what Alabama does. But especially after that fumble, whoa, talk about like game of inches, a game of inches.
Yeah.
That fumble was crazy. It was overall a good game. It was a pretty good game. But that's what you get in SEC play, man.
Yeah.
You get great games like.
No, it's I think before we get into the fumble, because that's probably there's a couple big storylines. I guess you covered a lot of it. I'll nitpick at some of the things you said. One of them was I was watching with my dad. It was funny because my dad is a Big Ten guy, like I've said multiple times on here, and it's 6-9 or 9-6 at the end of the first half, and he looks at me, he's like, "What kind of game is this? Like, can they score?" I was like, "Dad, this is the SEC. Like, welcome to the SEC. Like, you wait until the third quarter, end of third quarter, start of the fourth, when the defense is truly gassed and they've really like pushed it for however many minutes at that point. Then you get to see some touchdowns. Couple of things for me. Number one, injuries, yes, played a major factor in this. I think undoubtedly, I'm not even going to say that I'm that guy because it's just a fact. You take 2,000-yard receivers away from the Heisman candidate and you expect him to win against the best team, the best defense in the nation. I'm surprised this was a game until the pick six. And that was only because he forced it. That's why it was a pick six. For that, it was like, okay, 8-point game. Like I'm thinking, okay, you can drive down the field, look decent. Again, we just talked about 84, Agiye Hall, I'll call him, Hall, dropping all those passes. On top of the fact, Latu, the other tight end, caught the streak down the left side, goes all the way down to like the 9, and they don't put it in the end zone. That's when they threw it to Hall, and it went off his shoulder pads, if I remember correctly. So they blew a touchdown opportunity there. That was in the third quarter. I think that was in the third. Might have been the second. That was one where I was like, what are we doing? Like, we get inside the 10, and I'm sitting there rooting for Alabama. The first time I've ever rooted for Alabama, and I feel like I'm rooting for the Aggies again. Where we can't get inside the end zone. We're on the 9-yard line. You kidding me? Get 4 attempts at it or 3 attempts at it? Come on. So that for me is converting. There was no. When are we ever? And that's why I texted you last night. When are we ever going to see a game that Alabama doesn't score a touchdown until the fourth quarter? Like, when does that ever happen? We've never seen that before. You can fact check me. I'm comfortable saying that we've never seen that before. All the way.
Alabama literally beat LSU about, I don't know how many years ago, but they beat LSU in the national championship game 9-6.
Okay, look that up because that was probably BCS. That wasn't college football.
I think it was BCS.
Okay, well, point proven. It's been 7+ years at least.
No, it was like
7+ years. 7+ years. Still. Okay, even so, okay, I'll give it to you. Let's say 7 years ago. 7 years ago was the last time they were held no touchdowns until the fourth quarter. Insane. So that is something nobody could have predicted. The over-under was 52, if I remember correctly, 52, 54, something like that. 52. And we're going into the fourth, and it's 9-13. Who would have guessed that? Nobody. Injuries played a huge role. I feel bad for Jameson Williams going down. It's so shitty that John Mechie goes down in the SEC championship game and with a torn ACL, and then same team, different, championship here. And Jameson Williams goes down with the ACL. So that sucks. 2,000-yard receivers out. Brian Robinson is not their primary, that's not their point of attack. They were a passing team. We talked about this on the episode that released on Monday. They're not a rushing team.
But the thing was, when they were doing their best in that second half, they were feeding him like crazy, whether it was handing it off or just in the passing game, they were getting them on passing routes. That's when they were doing their best, and then they just stopped. You know why?
They ran out of time.
No, because their offensive coordinator is Bill O'Brien.
Hey, maybe. Still, though, 22 carries for 68 yards, averages 3.1 and no touchdowns. I mean, it's not like he rushed it for over 100 yards, and he caught 4 passes for 28 yards. He had 6 receivers ahead of him, including Jameson Williams. By the way, Jameson Williams was the number 2 receiver for Alabama last night. He got injured in the second quarter, beginning of the second quarter, something like that. It just tells you, like, they did not have any weapons, and the fact that you're in this game is just a testament to Saban. I know we're over here bowing down at the great King Saban. I'm going to give credit where credit's due. But first, I'm going to trash Georgia a little bit. How can you have 10 penalties? Alabama was given every opportunity to win this game. Again, could not put it in the end zone. 10 penalties, dude. They got a penalty. I had never even heard of this penalty. It was, what was it? It was
intentional grounding.
No, that we'll talk about that one. God, what was it? It was something like, I don't remember. I'll remember. Look at.
Was it the signal?
Yes, the clapping. I never even heard of that penalty. I mean, it might have been on Alabama actually, but that was like a really strange penalty. I like the rule, but I'd never heard that before.
What was the penalty?
He was clapping. The defender was clapping.
Oh, yeah. They can't. Yeah.
That was really strange. Like, I'd never seen that. I guess it was just known that you don't do that. And I like that rule. I'm glad it's a rule. But 10 penalties, man, Alabama had every opportunity. They couldn't capitalize. I'm really glad, as an Aggie, separating myself from this game, that Alabama lost, because I always love the opportunity to teach Roll Tide fans a little bit of humility. You know, you can't win every year, and let alone this team, this dynasty, this coach, won in 100 years. Like, you know, when do you get this kind of like role like they do? So a little bit of humility for Alabama. I'm going to give it up. You know, Stetson, we were kind of shitting on him a little bit. You know, he wasn't really this or that. Both the running backs ended up showing up. 84 yards for White and 77 for James Cook. Good on you for calling that. James Cook had that huge run, the 67-yard run. That was huge for them. And Stetson, like you said, just managed the game. He didn't make too many mistakes. He actually only made seemingly one. And that leads us to, what the fuck was that? That I could have sworn when he was going, I'm talking about the fumble, of course. This is the pivotal moment of the game where I thought Alabama was going to run away with this, because they get the ball on the 15 or whatever it is. I feel like I've seen that before, but it's never been called a fumble. Like, that just seems like, I don't know. I know pass interference, or not pass interference, incomplete pass would be technically the wrong call there. I just feel like I've seen that before, and it's been brushed off as incomplete pass, whatever, like, you know, it happens kind of deal. What was your initial reaction to that?
Well, the thing is, I mean, the rule is if the ball moves forward, it's an incomplete pass. Like, the ball / arm moves forward. The thing is, though, the ball was already, his arm went forward and everything, like real speed. It looks like an incomplete pass.
Yeah.
And so the thing is, the ball is, he doesn't have control of the ball when he's going forward with his arm. And
I agree.
so technically it's a fumble. And somehow, some way, this Alabama player, which is weird, you don't see Alabama players dilly-daddling.
Yeah.
You know, he just kind of half-assed it and somehow ended up just barely in bounds and caught the ball with one hand just for the fun of it. And it was insane. That's the part that baffled me the most, that he actually wasn't even trying. Somehow, game of inches, still stayed inside the zone, inside the playing field, and caught the ball with one hand, not even trying, just fucking around. And that was the crazy part for me.
Well, it just made me laugh a little bit, because I don't know. You didn't play football, right, David? You didn't play football growing up?
Not.
Did you play football growing up, Bam, or no? No, neither of y'all?
Football.
So I don't know if y'all did this in like any other sports that you might have played, but there was always kind of a joke when you were younger that it'd be like, and you see this on Twitter and TikTok, where people will like catch and they're like, oh, 2 feet bounds. And it'll be like you're standing on a line or some shit, like in the mall, you know, like, oh, 2 feet in bounds, or like, you know, like catching it 2 feet in bounds, 1 foot in bound. Like, you joke around with it. That was the first thing I thought. I was like, I bet this guy caught this ball. He's like, you know, 1 foot in bounds, you know, just like kind of like that sort of thinking, where it's like, this is a little bit of a joke, like, you know, 2 feet in bounds kind of deal. So I guarantee, and I'm almost 100% sealed, certified, certain that he did not think that was going to be a fumble, because nobody thought that was going to be a fumble. It was like the strangest call. Not only the penalties, but it seemed like every call was going Alabama's way. Like, they had everything going for them. Truly, it's the first time I think I've said that like publicly about a game where like the refs were truly on Alabama's side. From the strip sack, pick six of the first quarter, second play of the game, to this, to I don't know if they got any PI calls actually, but just in general, like, there was a lot of really kind of calls.
But like, are you trying to say that wasn't a fumble?
I'm not trying to say that. It was a fumble. By definition, it was a fumble. I'm saying in an average game on an average day, that's not called. Like that was just a very bizarre call.
Because this ain't no average game on some average day. I mean, Monday
true.
is an average day, but ain't no average game.
Would you have been upset it would have been an incomplete pass though?
No,
it could have gone either way. Because like I'm rewatching it right now, and it's literally like, so his hand is starting to go forward, and it's kind of like it slips off of it, but the ball still goes that like the way he's trying to throw it. So it's kind of like, dude, it could have gone either way. I would have not been.
But he doesn't have possession of the ball.
Exactly.
It's kind of like when you're debating a wide receiver catching the ball, even if it almost has it in his hands, but not completely, that's incomplete. It doesn't have possession of the ball.
I would have been happy that if they had called that incomplete pass, if Alabama had won, because I did not want to sit here for years on end debating whether or not that was a fumble or not, or Alabama with the refs, and that's why they won. And I didn't want that. I was like, give him the pass interference or the incomplete pass. Let him keep playing. Like, I don't want that on Alabama. Like, that's not a conversation I want to have. We don't want to have a Saints-Rams conversation again. Like, that's not what we want.
Except that was a blatant.
That was blatant, yeah.
But as far as that pick six, I mean, if you see the play, I'm pretty sure the receivers did not know where the hell they were supposed. Like, somebody ran a wrong route because the route combinations didn't even make sense.
Yeah.
The slot was running a sail route, and then the wide end was the wide out was running a go. Like, that's a weird. They were in the same spot at the same time. It was just weird, and that's why I'm pretty sure Bryce Young couldn't get no protection to save his damn life.
Yeah.
And he just said, fuck it. One of these true freshmen out there somewhere.
Yeah. Seriously, that's what Saban said going into half. They asked him, like, how are you going to, adjust with Jameson Williams? He goes, well, we got a lot of, really good guys, like 5-star guys. And, they don't have experience, but they're going to get some. Is what he said. And you're right. Like, Young didn't get, that was something we talked about on Monday. Young did not get sacked or intercepted on 44 pass attempts in the SEC championship game. Must have been the second play of the game, strip sack. That's the way the game went. I am going to say something that you may or may not agree with. Are you ready for this? From what I watched yesterday, keeping in mind that James Williams and John Mechie were injured, Alabama overall, player for player, was a better team yesterday. And it's because of the fact that when you have 2,000-yard receivers out and the offense is just puttering, and they don't usually typically run the ball, surprisingly, they still threw it. I think he had 57 attempts. Imagine if he had his 2-star receivers there. I mean, we'd be talking about a different game. The penalty differential was insane. I mean, the lack of discipline was crazy on Georgia's side. 10 penalties, and all of them seemingly in really, really bad timing. Like, really bad timing. I mean, that coupled with the fact that I was watching that, and towards the end of it, I just was waiting for Stetson Bennett to do something that, like, he did, where he threw the touchdown, I think, down the right side. It was just like, you give him enough chances, he's going to do something. Like, he's going to pull the trigger, something's going to happen. I truly believe yesterday, if they relined up and Jameson Williams isn't injured, and you still keep John Mechie out, I think Alabama's the better team from what I watched yesterday because of what they overcame in regards to their offense. I mean, come on. Like, you're right. The health won this game and didn't take anything away from Georgia. Congratulations, Georgia. Kirby Smart, welcome to the club. Jimbo and Kirby Smart, good for them. Go Dogs. Just caught a lucky one. That's part of the game, though. It's part of the game.
Can't overcome Bill O'Brien either.
You can't. Isn't that funny? They go to the championship and they lose the first year he's there. Like, the first year they're in the championship with him. Right? Because he wasn't there last year, was he? This is this year. Yeah.
No, because Sark was still offensive coordinator last year.
Wild. Overall, pretty good game, I would say. I don't think it was the best I've watched, but it was pretty good. I would like some more scoring, but it's SEC, man. It's Georgia and Alabama.
I knew that second half I didn't watch the first half, but when I saw the halftime score and I was going home to watch the second half, I knew second half was going to be way more just action-packed, more stuff going on.